Good morning, man, and welcome to another episode of the Good Morning, Man podcast with your unlicensed life therapist. That will be me, Roland Monroe, here with episode 6, Sober Love, when the high fades. Sober love, when the high fades. What do we do with that? In the previous episode, I talked about being high and being in all these places and really just disconnecting from myself. So now I want to talk about the love and all of that. So this one might hit you somewhere you've been avoiding. But sometimes, you might want to jot this down, that's where the healing starts. So before we get into it, I want you to take a breath with me. Not just for air, but for awareness, for stillness, for you. Let's inhale. I am safe to feel. Exhale. I no longer run from love. Well, let me set the scene for you, because there was a time in my life where literally everything felt like I needed a filter. You know how some of y'all ladies, y'all put on makeup and then you apply a little more makeup and then you still add a filter, something like that. But I needed a little something to take the edge off. A hit, a line, a pill, a drink. Whatever it was, it just didn't keep me from fully feeling. It's kind of numbing, if you will. I didn't even realize I was hiding, and you may not realize that if you're in this place. I just knew that sober felt too loud, too raw, and too damn real. Ain't that something when you think back? To be sober feels too live, too raw, and too real. So guess what I did? And you may understand this too. So I lived in a fog. It was a comfortable blur where nothing could touch me. Nothing. Not even love. I know you're like, come on, bro. Because love, real love, that requires presence. That requires, letting somebody see you with the mask off. Like, now, I'm letting the world see me because this is going to help somebody. With the pain still leaking through my smile, through my smile. You know what I mean? And at that time, though, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. And you may think you're not ready, but let's get ready. In those moments, I told myself that I was loving. But really, I was just available while I was high. That's really what it was. I was just available while I was high, but I told myself, I love you. Told myself I love you. And let's do a deeper reflection. And thank you all for rolling with me on the Good Morning Man podcast. Sober love when the high phase. Let's jump into sex, intimacy, and the illusion of connection. I used to think I was killing it. I'm serious. When I first started getting high, sex while high was like a movie. It was like the music was louder, the skin was softer, the moments felt longer. But let me be real, it wasn't intimacy. It wasn't intimacy, and we can be clouded by the drugs. It was really two ghosts dancing in the dark, chasing warmth with no fire. Two ghosts dancing in the dark, chasing warmth with no fire. And I remember, especially lately, when I got sober and when I'm sobering, let me tell you something. And for real, listen, the first time I tried to be intimate, without the high, without the drugs, without the alcohol, it literally felt like I had been dropped into my own body for the first time in years. I'm serious, and I literally didn't know what to do with my hands. Like, just simple, where do I put my hands? Do I put them there? Do I touch here? What do I do? I didn't know how to accept touch. Doesn't that sound crazy? But drugs will do it. I didn't know how to believe that this was real. I didn't know how to believe that this moment was real. I was in my head like, do they really want me? You ever felt like that? Do they really want me? Do I even want them? And am I enough like this? Raw, sober, unsure? Man, it was so awkward. It was so awkward. And I think I asked, should I light a candle or turn on ESPN? Because the fact of the matter is, I didn't know whether to, make love or make small talk. I didn't know whether to make love or small talk. For real. That's tough.